we go. You guys ready? Hello, everyone out there in YouTube land, on iHeart, on Spotify, on Apple. Thank you so much for joining us. We really do appreciate it today. And today also on the TikTok. We are live as well on TikTok. CMA, who's in the chat on the YouTube. What do you mean I'm always late? I'm not late today. It's 5 o'clock. Well, it's 5:02. So we were here chatting. I got lost in your comments. I got lost like talking to the folks on TikTok, also talking to the folks in the chat here, because you guys start the show before I do. And so anyway, I'm really, really happy that you're here and you're helping us to build, as we tell everyone every day, this lemon nation, or that you're a lemon head. So we're happy that you're a part of the lemon nation, that you're a lemon head. Okay, great show for you guys on every platform that we're on. As you notice, my glasses always slide down, so I have these nerdy eyeglass grips on. So I'm a nerd today, okay? I'm going to be a big nerd. I'm a big boomer. So listen, this is what we're going to talk about. Feel free to weigh in on any platform that you're watching us on. Amid tightening polls with only 19 days, can you believe it's only 19 days to the election? 19 days until the election. Vice President Kamala Harris has agreed to participate in her first sit-down interview, and guess who she's doing it with? She's doing it with none other than the Fox News, the supposedly we report, you decide crowd, okay? Fair and balanced. It is her latest effort to try to broaden this appeal among independents and Republicans. She wants to get in new voters, more conservative voters, undecided voters. The interview airs at 6 p.m. Eastern tonight. And, you know, I don't know about you, but I'm nervous. Are you nervous? Are you scared? Are you nervous? I don't know about you, but I'm a little bit nervous about this because you never know with the guy she's going on with, okay? And we're going to talk about that. Also tonight, I have a guest to help me out to preview this conversation with Fox's Bret Baier. Also, a guest who could chat with me and all of us about how to stay sane amid the chaos, calm, cool, and collected. Without further ado and delay is none other than Victoria Jackson.
Hi.
Victoria Jackson, good to see you.
Oh, good to see you. I'm such a fan, and I'm excited to be part of Lemonation.
Oh, are you going to become a lemon head?
Yeah, of course. I already am.
Duh. Thank you. You said you used to watch me every night on cable, right?
I watched you every night. There wasn't a night that went by that I wasn't tuning in to see my Don Lemon. You were my Don Lemon.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Let me tell you about this Victoria Jackson. She's an entrepreneur. She's a cosmetics pioneer, a philanthropist. She's an author. What else are you?
Oh, gosh, I'm a mom. I'm a busy lady. I'm just, you know, I'm a human being trying to do the good work here on planet Earth.
You know what? I put this like touch up my appearance thing on by accident. It's looking a little too smooth there. I got a little blemish from, I had an ingrown hair here. Okay, so here's the thing. Also, she has a brand new book out, okay, that we want to talk about. We all worry. We all worry. Now what? You know, I can really relate to that. It's about the steps that you can take to reduce anxiety, even in today's polarized, stressful political environment. Okay. The book includes thought-provoking wisdom from political icons, from Arianna Huffington. You know, I just saw Arianna Huffington on a Firing Line broadcast years ago with William F. Buckley Jr. Remember that when she would appear?
Yes.
Yeah. It was about being a gay conservative or a gay Republican. And this guy, it was a gay conservative, and he had come down with AIDS, and he was saying, you know, it happened because he was promiscuous in his youth and whatever. And it was a very interesting time to hear how differently people are talking about the subject. Okay. Arianna Huffington, Gloria Steinem, Jane Fonda, Monica Lewinsky, and so on. So you doing okay?
I'm doing great. And
you are.
I am. I'm really doing great. And you know what? This is a book that I wanted to write, Dawn, because with all that's going on in the world and things you're talking about every day, every night, there's a lot of worry. There's a lot of instability, a lot of tension, and worry, I always say, is the little seed that we water that leads to the anxiety, the stress, and the panic.
Yeah. Well, my thing up is, what are ways that you can express kindness to others? That's what I have up on the TikTok. So you guys let me know about that. Oh my gosh, with the hats. Come on. Okay, so this is let's talk about this before we talk about your book, okay? So So I want to show you who the vice president, what is causing consternation and people are concerned about when it comes to the vice president, especially the conservative people. Okay, I mean the liberal people and the people who support Kamala Harris. This is what Bret Baier is. He asks tough questions. Okay, so I'm going to play something of what he does, and then you can tell me, should the vice president be nervous or should the liberals be nervous? Here it is.
16, you said that. I'm going to surround myself with only the best and most serious people.
Well, I did do that.
This
and we
time,
had tremendous, look, we had the best economy we've ever had. The world has ever seen.
Your Vice President, Mike Pence, is running against you.
Yeah.
Your Ambassador to the United Nations, Nikki Haley, she's running against you. Your former Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, said he's not supporting you. You mentioned National Security Advisor John Bolton. He's not supporting you either. You mentioned Attorney General Bill Barr, says you shouldn't be president again, calls you the consummate narcissist and troubled man. You recently called Barr a gutless pig. Your second defense secretary is not supporting you, called you irresponsible. This week, you and your White House called your White House Chief of Staff, John Kelly, weak and ineffective and born with a very small brain. You called your acting White House Chief of Staff, Mick Mulvaney, a born loser. You called your first Secretary of State, Rex Tillerson, dumb as a rock, and your first Defense Secretary, James Mattis, the world's most overrated general. You called your White House Press Secretary, Kayleigh Canadian, milquetoast, and multiple times you've referred to your Transportation Secretary, Elaine Chao, as Mitch McConnell's China-loving wife. So, why did you hire all of them in the first place?
Woo!
Wow.
Wow. What do you think of that?
You know, I mean, in terms of you're asking me, like, should she be nervous? I mean, I have a lot of faith in her. And, you know, everybody's nervous all the time. And I think the way around is just, she's got a message. She's there. We all know who Trump is, you know, so I'm not nervous for her. I'm not nervous for her. I have, you know, my faith takes me a long way with her. I do. I do.
Yeah.
So, how about you? Are you nervous?
No, I'm not nervous because I think that you should go into the Lion's Den. I go into the Lion's Den. I go on all these podcasts. Hey, you guys, especially let me know if you have ever heard of the Nelk Boys, right? You, Victoria, you probably do. You know? I don't know. Maybe you know about the Nelk Boys.
No.
Okay, but they're very, very popular streamers, right? So I go on that, and people will ask me. And there was another conservative podcast that I went, and I go and I talk to these people. And once you get there, you realize, like, well, hey, there's nothing to be so nervous about because you just state your case. And if you know your facts, you don't really have to be concerned about it. I would go on to Fox News if invited, and I have been invited, but I have contractual obligations that sometimes I can't do it. But I would go on. I'd be perfectly willing to go on. So here's the thing. He asks tough questions.
Yes.
And he presents himself as sort of the fair and balanced. But the history doesn't always show that. I'm going to give you a couple of instances of what she might be up against. This is Bret Baier asking Trump about hypocritical crime policies. Watch this, and you guys listen.
As an example, a woman who you know very well was in jail. She had 24 more years to serve. She served for 22 years. She had 20.
Alice Johnson.
Alice.
She was in the Super Bowl.
High quality. Oh, yeah. I said, how many years? And she was on a telephone call, and they were involved in selling marijuana, mostly marijuana. And she got like 50 years in jail.
But she'd be killed under your plan.
Huh?
As a drug dealer.
No. Under that, it would depend on the severity. It would depend on the severity.
She's technically a former drug dealer. She had multi-million-dollar cocaine ring.
Any drug dealer, look.
So even Alice Johnson in that ad.
She can't do it, okay? By the way, if that was there, no, she wouldn't be killed. It would start as of now, so you wouldn't go to the past.
I know, but
Wow.
Yeah, a little busted there. Didn't really have an answer for that. Was not prepared. What do you think?
I mean, you know, I mean, but he talks so much stuff that it's hard to back most of it up. So, I mean, come on, you know, there's no surprises there. But I think it's what you said before, Dawn. If you know your stuff, you go into the Lion's Den when you're clear on your message, you know what you're doing. I think the fear goes away. I do. I think that doesn't mean you're not thinking, but you're on point. You're on point. So I know she's going to be on point. I'm not thinking tough.
Okay, something else. You know who Josh Hawley is, right? Josh Hawley is a conservative senator, Josh Hawley, right? Remember, he's like all the bravado, and then there's video of him running, fleeing the Capitol during the insurrection. This is him pressing Josh Hawley on election certification. Here it is.
Pin you down on what you're trying to do. You know, are you trying to say that as of January 20th, that President Trump will be president?
Well, Brett, that depends on what happens on Wednesday. I mean, this is why we have the debate.
No, it
This
doesn't.
is why
I mean,
we
the
have
states,
the
by the Constitution, say they certify the election. They did certify it. By the Constitution, Congress doesn't have the right to overturn the certification, at least as most experts read it.
Well, Congress is directed under the 12th Amendment to count the electoral votes. There's a statute that dates back to the 1800s, rather, 19th century, that says that there is a right to object, there's a right to be heard, and there's also a certification process.
That's from 1876, Senator, and it's the Tilden-Hayes race, in which there were 3 states that did not certify their electors. So Congress was left to come up with this system, this commission, that eventually got to a negotiated grand bargain. But now all of the states have certified their elections as of December 14th. So it doesn't, by constitutional ways, open a door to Congress to overturn that, does it?
Well, no, I'm talking about the statute, Brett. There's a statute that says, that governs what Congress does on January the 6th, and it says that we have a vote of certification and that we have the opportunity to debate the results, to certify the results. We count them and then we certify. And my point is, this is my only opportunity during this process to raise an objection and to be heard. I don't have standing to file lawsuits.
Okay, so again, busted. What do you think of that?
I mean, I think he just talks, you know. I mean, I don't know. It's like, where's that go? Where's he going with that? You know, it's, I don't know, Don. We gotta focus on just, it's hard. This is a very troubling time that we're in, and there's a lot of people saying a lot of things, but I think we just have to, what you do a lot of times is you help people to tune out the noise.
Yeah.
And that's what I try to do, you know, focusing on the kindness, focusing on, you know, getting back to people's shared sense of humanity.
Yeah.
That's how I have been successful in life, not being Pollyanna-ish about all of it, but getting back to people's shared sense of humanity. That's what we need to do.
Yeah.
And I'm going to help through stopping to worry so much.
Yeah. So listen, what I want to know is, he doesn't just do it to Republicans, right? I've just shown Republicans. I want to show just 2 examples, okay? This is, let's see, this is Bret Baier posing a homophobic question to Pete Buttigieg. Here we go.
Wow.
You also brought your husband, Chasten, on a military aircraft to attend a sporting event in Netherlands. Was that
That's quite a spin to put on.
No. But I mean, was that reimbursed? Because that was one of the controversies with Price.
I led a presidential delegation to support American wounded warriors and injured service members, the Invictus Games, as has been tradition for many years. I led the American delegation. It was one of the great honors of my time in this job. And the diplomatic protocol on a presidential delegation is that the principal is often accompanied by their spouse. It was a great trip. It was incredible. It was also a few weeks into the Ukraine war. So we had a chance at the U.S. Embassy to engage with the Ukrainian competitors, also wounded service members. Some of them went from the games back to the battlefield to fight for their country. I also took the opportunity to sit with the Prime Minister of the Netherlands to look at port infrastructure, Dutch port infrastructure. But here's what I want you to understand. Before me, it was the Secretary of the Army under President Trump who took that trip with his wife. Before that, it was Mrs. Trump as First Lady who went to the Invictus Games. Before that, Mrs. Obama did the same thing.
Sure.
And I guess the question on my mind is, if no one's raising questions about why Secretary Esper and his wife led that delegation, and as well they should have, then why is it any different when it's me and my husband?
Understood. So the last...
Yeah. Wow.
Don, you're on mute, Don.
Ooh, what do you think of that? He didn't say it was homophobic, right? But he's like, he pointed out all of this straight people.
Yeah, it's so wrong. It's so wrong. And, you know, it's just like, good for him for coming back on it. I mean, just it's like, you're out there doing the good work and you've got to just deal with the noise. It's just part of the noise.
Yeah. One more. Bret Baier interrupting the former President Barack Obama repeatedly. Here it is.
The reason that I think this conversation ends up being a little frustrating is because the focus entirely is on Washington process. And yes, I have said it. That is an ugly process. It was ugly when Republicans were in charge. It was ugly when Democrats were in charge.
This is
and the reason
of the U.S. economy, though, sir.
Sir, and Brent, let me tell you something. The fact of the matter is that for the vast majority of people, their health care is not going to change because right now they're getting a better deal. The only thing that is going to change for them is that they're going to have more security under their insurance, and they're going to have a better situation when it comes to if they lose their job, heaven forbid, or somebody gets sick with a pre-existing condition, they'll have more security.
So how can
the notion,
you guarantee that they're not they're going to be able to keep their doctor?
Brett, you got to let me finish my answers.
But sir, I know you don't like the filibuster.
Well, I'm trying to answer your questions, and you keep on interrupting. So let me be clear. Now, you keep on repeating the notion that it's 1/6 of the economy. Yes, it's 1/6 of the economy, but we're not transforming 1/6 of the economy all in one fell swoop. What we're saying is that for the vast majority of people who have health care, they're going to be able to keep it. But what we are saying is that we should have some basic protections from insurance company abuses, and that in order for us to do that, we are going to have to make some changes in the status quo that we've been debating for a year. This notion that this has been not transparent.
We get the point. Like, so that look, there's not always consistency there, but not everyone. You know what I mean? Not everyone is a perfect interviewer. I know that I'm not. I try to be respectful, but he's cutting off the president a lot there.
Yeah, he's cutting off a lot of people. He's, it's hard to watch. A lot of it, Dawn, just becomes really hard to watch. And at times you're sort of, as a person who's been watching the news for a very long time, we're going to less and less of the really good people are going to get into politics, because it's just, you're just trying to do the good work. So.
Yeah. Okay. So let's move on. Okay.
Okay.
I'm actually I'm trying to see if there's some new stuff from that interview. It would be great if we could get it on. Okay, there's some new stuff. So let's talk about the nervousness that's going on. So I told you this story about, I was on the street today and someone asked me and everyone was so nervous. The guy's like, oh no, she's not ahead. Right. Screaming. As we're here, my friend just sent me a note saying, so I'd been saying, hey, listen, how do you feel about the election? Still confident? I said, the polls are really close. He goes, I still feel good. And then he says, I'm reading your book. It's great. Thank you. This is my friend. And then he said, I sent him a note about the Republican enthusiasm about Donald Trump. And he goes, spin. And I said, okay. And then today, as I am speaking with you, Victoria, he sends me a note, says, I'm a tad concerned about black men. And I said, well, I told you 2 months ago. Why do you say that? He goes, because I had a couple of strange conversations.
Yeah.
And I think there are certain contrarian people that don't actually vote. And then he said, black women will save all of us again.
Yeah.
So people are really in their feelings. They're starting to wet the bed. They're starting to get nervous. Are you guys nervous?
So tell me what you're worried about in black men.
I'm not worried about black men. I went to the convention in August and we did a road trip, a road tour, right? And went on the road and just interviewed people and asked them what they thought about the election, who they thought was going to win, on and on and on and on. And time after time after time, black men said to me, I'm voting for Trump. I'm supporting Trump. I can't support her. I'm voting for Trump. And so he is going to get listen, Kamala Harris is going to win the black vote, men and women, right? But he's going to get a bigger portion than historically for a Republican. And so I'm not concerned about that, but that was my reporting that the vice president actually answered a question about on the town hall yesterday with Charlemagne the God. So folks are nervous. Folks are in their feelings. And that's what your book is about.
Exactly. People are nervous. People, nobody likes to live in a place of instability and the unknowns. And which is why that it is very concerning. For me personally, Trump represents a lot of that concern, and instability. And I am really hoping and will do my part that Kamala Harris is our next president. But I understand that this is a very troubling time. So we think about worry, stress, anxiety, panic. How do we deal with that? Like, what are the things that we're going to, do? And I think a lot of it is, we can ruminate, especially now. We can keep going around in the same circle. So how do we get out of that rumination loop? How do we start putting our friend group together to help us through these times when we really are stuck or have our concerns? A lot of it for me, Dawn, some of it is so basic, but it's taking the next step when you're stuck in that rumination loop. It's zooming out. It's trying to get perspective. It's like I was saying to you before, a lot of it about the noise, trying to keep yourself in the present moment. Like I say to myself a lot, if it's not happening now, it's not happening. The election isn't happening right now. So we're like trying to keep yourself in a moment, present.
Interesting. So there are some folks that listen. I'll just give some of the TikTok folks, and then I'll go to the other chat. And it says, "Not worried. Let the orange." These are their words, not mine. Clown, keep talking because we can see what dementia looks like. Again, that's not someone in the chat is saying that. Others are saying, "I'm terrified of Project 2025." I think that's something to actually be terrified about. Doug Queston says, "Not going to happen." They don't believe it's going to happen. What is, you have to live in reality, and a little bit of fear, I would say, Victoria, is not a bad thing, is it?
I mean, there's a certain amount
to motivate you.
It's part of like, fight or flight, in the where it came from is, keeping you safe. But it's kind of when you start going to that next, the what ifs that keep you from experiencing what I think is all the amazing things on the other side of fear. I mean, I've had some really scary things happen in my life. And if I just always live on the other, the negative side of it, and you ruminate and you can't get out of that loop, you don't get to go to the other side. But yeah, I'm not saying you're never going to have fear. We all have that, but it's how we manage it. It's how we manage the worry and stress and how we still can live our lives.
Yeah. Let's see. Americans are feeling increasingly stressed about the politics amid the assassination attempt of the former president. A late-breaking candidate change. Look, I mean, there's some good reason, I believe, for people to be a little bit nervous. The debate drama, the legal battles. It's in a deeply negative snapshot of American politics. This is in February of 2024. The Pew poll found that 65% of U.S. adults always or often felt exhausted by politics. 55% always or often felt angry. That's not a good place to be in.
No,
why are we here?
To be frustrated, angry, depressed, people saying they don't want to vote. What does it matter? Giving up. None of that is good. None of that is a good feeling. We're here because, there's a lot of division. I mean, I don't think anyone thought that we'd still be in a race this close when some of us look at it and go like, how can this be? Some of the things that he'll say don't make sense or are so polarizing or so just distressing to hear. And yet this is where we are. So everybody has to keep, there really is that sort of keeping calm and carrying on. And that doesn't mean not doing anything because there's a lot that has to be done. But I think that, we all can't shut down. This is the time we have to become strong, centered, focused, clear.
Yeah. And demure. And
we have to, we have to lean on our, like, hopefully our friends. Not all our family is going to agree where we are. We have to build our community. But we still have to try to, Dawn, I always still try to reach out. I built a medical foundation where I had to bring 60 countries together and hundreds of researchers and scientists together to find a cure. And I found ultimately when I had to get to people's brain trust through a shared sense of humanity, there's goodness in people. And when you bring people together, And if you can find that one thread, that one piece to build on, it can lead to some pretty positive outcomes.
Yeah.
I
So
really believe
let me just tell you. So look, I'm watching your comments. And I'm going to read some of your comments, okay? Because I think it's important for people to weigh in on this conversation because you can actually help. There are people in the comments right now who are saying, Pamela Carter says, I'm feeling depressed. Grammy B says, I never thought he would win in 2016. Let's see. Krista Kings says, women can do the show up. Women can do this. Show up. We have to show up more than the guys. No, I'm not in a good place. I realize it stresses me out, says Angela Porter. So I want you to pay attention to this, please, Victoria, and everyone who's watching, no matter what platform that you're on. And because I believe this is how many people feel. It's from TikTok, a TikToker, and he posted how he feels, how anxious he feels about the election coming forward. And to say there's a bit of some salty language here, but it's a little bit long. But everybody, please pay attention and watch. Here it is. See if you can relate.
Through so many election cycles, and I've seen so many fucking ads. I've seen so many goddamn ads my entire life, and never until this election cycle have they actually like made me nervous, given me fucking anxiety to the extent of what they actually mean, right? I'm used to attack ads. I'm used to, this fucking state rep you've never heard of, she wants to raise your taxes. And this guy you've never fucking heard of, he wants to do XYZ taxes. And it's just taxes. But I've been sitting here watching the fucking Trump ads that they're running during football games and the baseball playoffs, and they're the most horrific shit I've ever seen in my entire life. The plans that he has are so fucking insane because that's what they're telling you. And my friends who live in blue states, they don't know this shit. They're sitting here being like, oh, next year I think we're going to go skiing in February. Bitch, next year I don't think we're going to be allowed to cross state lines. Like, y'all don't understand. They're currently running an ad right now that is trying to link Kamala Harris with prisoners getting transgender surgeries. And then they try to tie that in with illegal immigration. And then the ad ends by going, Kamala Harris is with they, them. And Donald Trump is with us. And this is what's running. Like, I'm watching this. They're targeting this ad at me. And the thing is this ad is followed by an ad by a super PAC. And the super PAC is just there going, listen, America used to be great, but then all these illegals came into this country. And Kamala Harris gave them all of our housing and free cell phones, and they're getting all the health care. Donald Trump will take care of it. That's what these fucking ads are saying repeatedly. And then if you listen to the actual speeches, which I know y'all in the blue states aren't doing because you're pretending he's not there, you're just hoping we can go back to brunch again. If you listen to those speeches, and not the ones by Donald Trump, okay? He is a 78-year-old overweight man with dementia. You have to listen to the speeches by his 40-year-old vice presidential candidate, J.D. Vance. What does J.D. Vance say he's going to do? Well, he says he's going to fix America by mass deporting 11 to 20 million people. He never describes how he's going to do that, but he always uses these round numbers of 11 to 20 million people because he's like the Raptors testing the fucking fence. Just testing it. Oh, if I say 11 million, is that enough? Is 20 million too high? During the vice presidential debates, he said that the Haitians living in Ohio, in his own state, he said they're illegal. And when they said, no, they're not, they're legal, he said, no, they're actually illegal. Which means if you have papers, you could still be illegal under J.D. Vance's plan. And what does that plan look like? To remove 20 million people from the United States? You're going to have checkpoints. You're going to have squads of men moving door to door, asking you for papers. They're going to be putting people into camps that they've already listed. These are all things that they're talking about constantly and consistently and openly. And does anyone at the New York Times ever want to fucking talk about this? No, they don't. They just want to keep the horse race going. But us here in the battleground states, we're sitting here and watching it. And it's getting crazier and crazier and crazier. We are 1 month away from the day after Election Day. So for all y'all in New York and LA and San Francisco and all the other safe blue states, I hope you have my anxiety now. Enjoy it.
Oh, that's so
Yeah.
hard to watch. And hey,
He's stressed out. I'm sorry about the language, but I mean, look, what do you think?
well, you asked, a little fear is good. There's a little fear versus like complete, I think Trump and the messaging is always built on fear, but no, it's not okay. And it's absolutely, we have to bring it back. I mean, listen, I'm somebody who I always try to find the center. And obviously he's really saying, hey, excuse my language, fuck that. Where is the center? Like we're all, it's bad and it is scary times, but that isn't happening now. We have to keep working so that doesn't happen. I don't know, Don, that's how I approach things. That's how I approach things. I just keep trying to move forward. And it makes me sad and sick that we have the amount of anxiety that we do right now, and that we're at a place where a guy like that is feeling that. My heart breaks for him and for us, for all of us that are feeling the anxiety to that extent. And what does it make you?
Oh my gosh, I understand that. Look, Victoria, this is why I have a therapist. Do you guys have a therapist? Do you have a therapist?
Sure.
We all need a therapist, someone to talk to, and that gives us like coping, skills. I do the breathing thing, or being mindful. And I don't mean like, I don't mean that the mindful in the way that is sort of the TikTok trend or whatever. So, wow. Yeah. I think, look, I'm going to read some of the things here and see what folks are saying. And I want you to respond. Okay, Victoria.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Gardenia says, I understand the language. I am salty and I love salty language. It's okay, says Big Dindy Piccolo. I mean, I think it's appropriate. Sometimes the salty language helps you get your emotions out, right?
Yeah, he's feeling it. I mean, you could feel the passion in what he's feeling.
Yeah.
And the anxiety.
The greatness babyface says, I have the same anxiety he does, right? I have the same anxiety he does. Thank you, Duran, for joining us. So listen, and he's speaking the truth, says Eddie Gray. So good that guy says, I'm serious. Dude, I have it, says Kelly Galimba. More people than I thought in this chat are more people who are part of the Lemonation, Victoria, are part of Lemonhead. They're admitting that they're stressed. He's not wrong, says Tam Jules.
Oh,
wow.
I think we know that. I think, you can feel it. It's palpable in the world that the stress, the anxiety, and the fear is taking over. And it's because we're constantly being fed, more and more of the fear till it's getting, and as we get closer to the election, the spoon feeding, which is now they're not just little spoon feedings of fear, they're giant heaps, is going to increase more and more. And I do think it's important, Don, that's why we try to continue to find our own personal center throughout. You just have to, right? Because it's not going to go away. And I think as we keep getting closer to election day, more and more anxiety, stress, fear on everybody's part and all the different parties is increasing. And then, your actions start going along with that.
I thought a lot of this stress went away. You remember how stressful it was during COVID? We were all locked in our houses. We didn't know what was going on. We couldn't go to work. Some people didn't know if they were going to be able to, pay their rent or their mortgage or take care of their families. And then all of a sudden, 2020 came, the election came, President Biden got the economy back on track. It took a while and it's still getting there. And I said, you know what? I felt like we were going to be in the roaring 20s, right? With everyone just sort of celebrating. But now that stress is back, right? Stress is back. And so I just wonder, are we calling this into our lives? Like, what the hell is going on?
You know what? Don't you think that everything really changed once there became, I sort of obviously grew up in a world where there were no iPhones and internet and all that. I mean, don't you think just the fact that we're so connected the way we are and everybody's getting so much information, it's almost like we're like not built for this much. And we're at a time where we're just at this inflection point of so much is being fed into our brains and our beings and our hearts and our souls and all of our emotions. It's a scary time. It's almost like an overload. And I think that's why it's important. You have to still kind of be able to, you said you were doing some mindfulness, whether it's meditation or going out in nature. We've got to talk about the good stuff that you can still do, that you have to do. Like there's a nice little picture behind you of New York City. There's probably a Central Park nearby. Like you've got to do those things while all the crazy is going on.
Well, this is, I mean, you said a picture, that's a window, right? That's outside of the window. I'm going to put it up so you can see, but yeah, it may get a little bright in here, but here we go. That's it. And, but yeah, and I should probably go out after this.
You should go out, go for a walk, take your dog. Like
there it is.
Like you got to go breathe. You can't just, the gentleman who is on the couch.
Yeah,
I feel that, and he's also got to go outside, breathe the air, just like, and know that, just you got to find some center. You got to find some calm.
As they say, it's going to be all right. That's a song. Okay, so listen, I'm going to play some of the reasons that people are nervous and just some of the issues that they have. I mentioned black men, and there's a real reason for that. This is the vice president on, you guys heard of the Shade Room? The Shade Room has a TikTok. The Shade Room is on Instagram. The Shade Room has a website. The Shade Room is a big platform for news and information, and even gossip and celebrity news, entertainment, politics, everything, okay? One of the biggest platforms on social media. This is the vice president on the Shade Room just yesterday talking about black male voters. Watch.
Being, in the polls and you're seeing black men aren't as, quote, excited or fired up for you, how do you respond to that?
Well, that's not my experience.
Okay.
One, that's not my experience. Two, election day has not arrived yet.
Okay.
And the third point that is probably the most important point is this. When journalists ask me this question, I often will say to them that let's be clear that your underlying premise is not an assumption that I'm supposed to have black men in my back pocket in terms of their vote, and that I should be taking that for granted, because I don't. Black men are no different from anybody else. They expect that you have to earn their vote. And that's why I'm out here doing the work that I'm doing about talking with folks, listening with folks, because I'm running for president of the United States. And it is incumbent on me to earn this support.
Very good answer. I think that was very respectful, not chastising anyone or judging, saying, I think that's a really good answer, which should calm people down a little bit. What do you think?
I think so, because you could see she's coming from a place of being clear. She's not taking anything for granted. I'm here to listen, to earn your vote, to do the work. There's a center in that. Oh, we can't hear you.
Yeah, yes. So also, I'm going to play one more again, because we didn't get to play a lot of some of the things that happened yesterday. She's been doing so many interviews. I'm sure you've been watching. The criticism is that she's not doing enough interviews, and now she's doing all these interviews, and I can't keep up with them. This is her talking about Trump's racist history on the Shade Room.
Okay. Pointing out that there are two very different visions for our nation that are being presented to voters right now. On the one side, you've got Donald Trump, who wants to take us backward. Donald Trump, who, let's not forget, when he was renting his apartments and his property, refused to rent to black families. Donald Trump, who, as it relates to 5 young black men, they were actually teenagers and Latinos, the Central Park 5, he took out a full-page ad in the New York Times calling for their execution. They were innocent. Donald Trump, who referred to the first black president and suggested, remember the birtherism, birtherism, lies, that he couldn't have been born in the United States. Donald Trump, who in his Project 2025, you know, the various things that would happen would include allowing it or making it easier for companies to not give workers overtime pay. We cap the cost of prescription medication at $2,000 a year for seniors and cap the cost of insulin at $35 for our seniors. That's our grandparents. Yeah. Our parents. Black folks are 60% more likely to be diagnosed with diabetes. His plan would eliminate that cap. So part of the reason that I am out here talking with folks, listening to folks, is to make sure that I am communicating and letting them know about the real contrast that is being presented. Because my bottom line is this. I know the power that people have to make a difference. And I respect that power. And I am out here doing the work of earning then the vote so that we can get to the job of continuing to move forward. And for me, that is about pushing for an opportunity economy, which is about tapping into the ambitions and the aspirations of folks and doing the work of investing in community, investing in industries, strengthening our economy, and giving people dignity in the process.
Now,
I think that was a very good answer. What did you think of that?
Yeah, I really like
it. Calming, not chaotic, not blaming, yelling. My opponent is terrible, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yes, I know exactly what you're saying. And that's the kind of thing we want to hear. And, you know, it's very measured and clear, and her messaging and her center. And, you know, I mean, obviously that's why I'm a big fan and a big supporter. So, because that's more what we need. And the other people, there's almost like when you're hearing Trump and stirring the pot, stirring it up, it's people are living in this constant state, even if they don't know it, of anxiety and stress and panic. And it's just being harnessed in, I think, all the wrong ways. I don't even know that everybody's even aware of the constant turmoil that they're in. They're just almost getting used to it.
Well, I just have to say that you have helped us, and I really appreciate it. Victoria Jackson is an entrepreneur, cosmetics pioneer, a philanthropist, an author. Oh my gosh, make sure you get her book. Her brand new book is out, and it's called We All Worry, Now What? We All Worry, Now What? Victoria Jackson.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed the experience. We'll have you back, and you really.
I love it. Breathe. It's not happening now. It's not happening.
Thank you, Victoria. Be well. Okay.
Right.
Thank you. I hope you guys enjoyed having Victoria on. That was amazing. Okay, guys, can we talk? Because I'm still kind of nervous. I know she called me. I'm a little bit nervous. Nervous, not like who's going to win or any of this. It's just nervous because everyone is so tense. Everyone out there is freaking out. Why are you freaking out so much? Why are you freaking out so much? What is going on? Why are you yelling at people on the street? What are you scared over? People in the comments, what do you think? Krista King says, Lemon, women love you. Thank you. I had so many women come up to me today. Today was the day of women love for Don Lemon. I was on the city bike. This woman rolled her window down. Oh my gosh, she stopped in traffic. She got a picture. I was putting the city bike away. This woman sitting in traffic, same thing. I want a picture. I love you. I miss you. There was a woman in Central Park. Oh my gosh, Don Lemon, you're a legend. It's so today that made me feel good. Not that I need those things, but they did make me feel good. And I'm sure you have people like that in your lives. So no matter what platform you're joining us on, make sure you hit the thumbs up, you like button. It affects the algorithm. Trust me, I'm learning all about these algorithms after I'm now in this space. So make sure you smash that like or that heart button. And look, earlier I did this, I'm trying this TikTok live thing and people were sending like faces and hats and all these things. It's crazy. It's crazy. But I hope you join us. I actually got a note from TikTok saying, hey, I don't think some of your stuff can go to all audiences and maybe they're restricting it. Don't restrict us. Everyone needs to hear this. Even on the YouTube, guys, tell me what you think. I know you're thanking Victoria now, and that in the top, it tells you how to order Victoria's book. Let's see. Corina Denise says, you so fine, Don Handsome, etc. Thank you. J. Ted Anderson says, Black men love you too. Thank you. I love you, Black men. I love all of you. Oh, wow. Okay, so let's talk about this. Ina Coleman says, I don't sleep, Don. Anxiety to the max. Anxiety to the max. What's the anxiety about? Right? What's the anxiety about? Do you believe that we're going to be okay no matter what? Do you think we're going to be okay no matter what? I just worry about us on the other side of another Trump presidency, if we will have a full and intact democracy. Now, imagine this is, I don't know, you guys don't want to hear this, but if he wins the White House, I heard that this morning on one of the streams. If he wins the White House and the Congress and the Senate, then he also has the Supreme Court. It's really over. Basically, we will have, a dictator can do whatever they want. Now, I personally believe that women, I have such a faith in women. I think that women are going to save the day. Like my friend, I'm not sure about these brothers. I don't know how much of them are going to vote. I don't know. But I do know I am concerned about a couple of things. Okay? One more thing I just want you to know. This is back from, just so you guys know, the vice president has been saying, I keep telling my story over and over, and that's why some people are hearing the same things, all the time. Like you hear, I was born in a middle-class family. We lived above in a garage apartment, what have you. I'm a child of divorce. And she says that over and over. She says, that's because I want people to get to know me. And then she got the criticism that she was doing this push for her agenda for Black America, and especially Black men, that, hey, KD Swag says, stop lying, Don. I don't know what I'm lying about, but whatever. Give me a specific one, KD Swag, if you're going to be a troll. Like, tell me what I'm lying about, and so that I can, because we like facts here on the Don Lemon Show. Folks who are part of the Lemon Nation or Lemonhead, we like facts. So you say, Don, stop lying about what? And then I can address whether it's a lie or not. I know I don't lie about anything, or whether you have a misconception, or maybe I can explain something to you. Okay, so go for it. All right. So she's getting criticism about just doing this because, every 4 years people reach out to the Black community and they need us, and then they forget about us. Okay. She says, I've been doing this for a long time. And then here is, we like to have receipts here. We like receipts on all of our platforms. This is the vice president. She wasn't vice president back then. She was a district attorney of California. This is in 2006, talking about Black men. Receipts. Here it is.
I can tell you as the chief law enforcement officer for a major city in this country that it is not working. We see that in the statistics that you've outlined. 2 million people are in the prison system in this country. Over 40% are African American, in spite of the fact that we only constitute 13% of the general population. It's not working. It's not working when we recognize that African American men, the leading cause of their death is homicide. We are overly represented both as victims and as defendants and as witnesses. Our communities suffer because our babies hear the gunfire every night. So the 7-year-old has post-traumatic stress disorder and cannot go to school the next day and learn. The criminal justice system is not working for us. What I think we have failed to do as a community, however, is own this issue of law enforcement. We talk about these statistics in the context always of it is unfair, it's morally incorrect. Maybe we have learned that from the church. It is morally incorrect. But nobody cares about that. You can look at Katrina. Nobody cares about the fact that we've got a bunch of young Black and brown men in prison. That argument is not working. What I suggest we do as African Americans is own this issue in law enforcement and then define it in the way that works for us. Because it is a myth to say that African Americans don't want law enforcement. We do. We want our grandmothers to be able to walk to church and be safe.
That was 2006. So this is nothing new. And those are just facts. Okay? Those are just facts. So what I'm saying to you is that, listen, yes, I agree with you, Pamela Carter. She should run this in all of her ads, Don, you're saying. I agree with you. But what I'm saying to you is this. As we are just, what did I say at the top of the show? 19 days away. Know your facts. Know who you support. Know all of those things. Don't rely on what someone else is saying that you heard about this and that, blah, blah. Like, don't rely on that. I see a lot of people seeing things on the internet. I've told you guys this morning on the Hot Topic show at 10 a.m. when you were saying that someone said that Mike Pence is supporting, endorsing, and or voting for Vice President Kamala Harris. No, someone took a clip on the internet and they edited it, and you believed it. What he said was, I could never vote for Kamala Harris or Tim Walz presidency and vice presidency. But also, I cannot support what he believes Donald Trump has, tried to get him to just throw out the Constitution and certify the 2020 election when it was not warranted, when it was not within his power to do it. So he's not supporting us. So you have to know your facts. And I also think that you need a plan. I don't think that you have to be confrontational to people, but I do think that you need to talk to people, especially if they're giving you some misinformation. This is a very, very, very important election coming up. We say it every time. This is consequential. This one is the most important election of our lifetime. This is because this one will get to decide even further the balance or imbalance of the Supreme Court. The balance or imbalance of the Supreme Court. This is what will happen. Okay? I'm getting some breaking news here that I need to report. Okay? That has nothing to do now with, let's see, it has nothing to do now with politics. I just want to make sure that what I'm reporting is accurate and factual. Okay? So let me put it in here. And I'm going to let you know. Stand by one moment. Okay. Hold on one second. Okay. So according to the folks here, it is true. Okay. Do you guys have heard of One Direction, correct? This is coming to us from ABC and Good Morning America, and also from TMZ. The former One Direction star, this is breaking news, okay, on our YouTube channel and here on our TikTok channel. One Direction star Liam Payne has died after falling from the 3rd floor of his hotel room in Argentina. That is according to state police. The English singer was 31 years old. Okay, the breaking news, Liam Payne of One Direction has died after falling from a balcony in Argentina. That's according to the state police. He's 31 years old. He was staying at the Hotel Casa Surf in Palermo. That's according to police. Payne joined One Direction at the group's inception. This was in 2020 after appearing on the show X Factor. The group also included Harry Styles, Niall Horan, and Zayn Malik, and Louis Tomlinson. Since the band broke up in 2015, Payne began a solo career releasing the pop song Strip That Down in 2017 and the album LP1 in 2019. So this story is just developing, but again, a member of One Direction has died. The former One Direction singer died Wednesday evening. Several witnesses at the hotel where he was staying in Buenos Aires tells us that Liam fell from his room on the 3rd floor at the Casa Surf Palermo Hotel. We do not know if it was intentional or accidental. Okay, that's the breaking news. Earlier this week, there were reports about Liam's ex-fiancée, Maya Henry, alleging he had left her after asking her to get an abortion. Her attorneys had been trying to send him a cease and desist letter to stop contacting her. Now, that was earlier reports. Now, listen, I don't know what is going on. And again, those are reports that had happened before. But that is our breaking news, according to 2 sources that we have from TMZ. Also, again, from ABC News. Witnesses say this happened shortly after 4 p.m. in Buenos Aires, and that Liam had been acting erratic in the hotel lobby earlier. I'm telling you, this is giving me flashbacks of something else that I covered back, and I believe was 2012, around 2012. He smashed his laptop. He had to be carried back to his room. Again, these are witnesses, and this is according to a TMZ report. Police and other first responders are all around the hotel now, and authorities have put up a red tent over the body as they began their investigation into Liam's death. They were able to identify him because TMZ was able to obtain a photo showing Liam's body on a wooden deck in a hotel with tables and chairs nearby. They're not showing the whole body, but you can clearly see his tattoos, a clock on his left forearm, and a scorpion on his abdomen. Again, Liam Payne, dead at the age of 31, a former member of One Direction, along with Harry Styles and others. What an awful story to have to report. What an awful story to have to report. Other news sources are coming in now and reporting the information. Did you guys know him? Do you guys know him? The reason I said that was that it was giving me 2012 vibes is because I remember reporting something very similar about a very beloved singer. I don't think it was intentional, but it was accidental, but had been acting erratically, and then they were showing video of the night before, and that was Whitney Houston. And so I hate to report that. And my heart goes out to him because, listen, and we were just reporting about people being anxious and nervous and whatever. I believe that there's nothing that you can't overcome. You can overcome anything. That's why I believe mental health is important. And I think that we have to take the stigma off of mental health. I'm not sure what happened. I don't know if he fell. I don't know what, but it appears there was some distress in his life. Maybe he fainted. Who knows? No one knows what happened. But 31, I can't even remember when I was 31. It's so young, 31 years old. I mean, just starting your life when you are 31 years old. So sad. So I hate to leave you with that. There will be more investigating, but I just want to tell you guys, look, no matter what you're going through, take a breath. There's always someone who loves you, and there's always a lot more noise in your head than what's actually out there. And it's a cliche where they say, time heals all wounds. It's kind of true. I thought that when I was a kid and my dad died, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to get over this. And eventually you get used to it. And then my grandmother died. And I was like, oh my gosh, the woman who raised me, you guys call them nannies now, but my grandmother was my nanny. Eventually I got used to it. Then my stepdad died. Depressed. Then I got used to it. And then you guys all know the story, right? In 2018, I was at work. And I got a call. I was about to get ready to go on the air in a little bit. I got a call. Thank you, Happy. I appreciate it. Thank you for supporting independent media. I got a call from my mom and sister. They could not even talk, alerting me that my sister had died. I thought I would never, ever, ever, ever get over it. And then I got used to it. And then one day I went to work, came home from work, getting ready to take a nap. And I got a call from my agent. He said, they're going to fire you. Wow. Okay. Life goes on. Life goes on unless you take it, or life goes on unless your time is up, meaning the good Lord calls you home. So you got to live while you're living. You got to live, and you cannot let anything drag you down that much. You've got to be just peace. Be still. Sometimes you have to do nothing but just have faith. Okay? So I love you guys, all the new folks who are here. Thank you so much for supporting me, who are on TikTok. Thank you. I think they restricted us because they didn't think our content was suitable or whatever, but go on and tell the folks at TikTok, no, it's suitable. And the folks here on YouTube, thank you so much. You know, the Lemonheads, Lemon Nation. Thank you guys for helping us build this community. Thank you for all the kind things that you say about me all the time, that you miss me on CNN, that you love me, but you like me here. All of those things. It really means the world to me. And I love you too. And I hope there's someone in your life who loves you. I know that there is. So you guys take care of yourself. I'll see you at 10 a.m. As a matter of fact, I'm going to FIT, the Fashion Institute here in technology in New York. And I'm going to do a panel on civility in politics. We're going to talk about that. Okay. So if you're there, yay, come join us. Right. If you're in Manhattan. And by the way, I understand that some of you are coming to my book signing tomorrow, a book event in Long Island. Who is it? Nappy Chow who's coming? Oh, Maureen Marfell is coming. Maureen Marfell and then someone else. Beverly, I think, you guys are coming. So I cannot wait to meet you guys and give you a big hug. And it's going to mean the world to me. Okay. So let me know if you're coming, and so I can greet you and hug you and tell me that you're a Lemonhead and you're part of the Lemon Nation. Okay. You guys be well. Good night. I'll see you tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. for our Hot Topic show. And make sure you hit the thumbs up and the like and the hearts. Smash that heart button and the like button. Okay. And I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great evening. Be safe. Love you all. Thanks for watching, everyone. Make sure you hit the like button. It helps us with the algorithm. And also, we'd love for you to become a subscriber. So hit that button too. We're live every day at 10 a.m. Eastern Time and 5 p.m. Eastern. So there's plenty of content for you to check out.